Every Spider Man in the main Marvel Universe has made a deal with Mephisto. Peter Parker, Miles Morales, Otto Octavius, and Ben Reilly. All of them have crossed paths with Marvel's devil and struck bargains with him that ideally should have had long lasting consequences, but they didn't. None of them really had any consequences. It's kind of wild how it somehow became a Spider Man thing when it never should have happened in the first place. It's a weird coincidence that has always stuck with me, even if it has led to nothing meaningful in the comics and probably never will. Before diving into why that is so strange, let's go over how and why each of these deals happened. Let's start with Miles Morales. In issue 2 of the 2019 Champions Run, Miles experiences something horrific on a mission with his team. He sees his close friends Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, and Viv Vision die right in front of him. That trauma hits him hard. That's when Mephisto appears and exploits Miles' grief. The devil offers Miles a chance to turn back time and save them. Miles hesitates at first, but when Mephisto promises that he doesn't want anything in return, Miles agrees out of desperation. Kamala and Viv are saved, but there is a tragic twist to the story. A young civilian Miles had saved earlier dies as a result of Mephisto turning back time. For what it's worth, Miles' story was handled really well. It was emotional, it made sense, and you understood exactly why Miles made that choice. Who wouldn't want to undo that kind of pain? But still, the part that doesn't sit right with me is the idea that Mephisto just helped him out of kindness. That's not who Mephisto is. The devil of the Marvel Universe never gives without taking. It's been nearly 6 years since that story, and it's never been brought up again. And I think that's a damn shame. Next up, we have Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider, and the Spider Man of the 90s. In issue 16 of the 2018 Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider series, Ben makes his own bargain with Mephisto. Now, some quick context. Ben had recently been brought back from the dead, and the trauma of that resurrection drove him a little insane. He was even a supervillain for a little while. So, Mephisto offers him something that he doesn't often offer: redemption, the chance to purify his soul. Ben, desperate for peace within his soul, accepts the deal. Mephisto demands one thing in return: that Ben shoot warmth. But Ben refuses. You would think that breaking a promise to the literal devil would lead to dire consequences, right? But no, nothing really happens after that. The story moves on, the arc ends, and the whole deal just is forgotten. Considering everything Ben has gone through since then, maybe the real punishment is his life. Maybe Mephisto is secretly pulling the strings from the background. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. Then we have Otto Octavius, the Superior Spider Man. In issue 11 of the 2019 Superior Spider Man series, Mephisto shows up once again, but this time his role feels more like a plot device. When Otto is forced to fight an alternate universe Norman Osborn, he realizes that he cannot win and somehow comes to the illogical conclusion that it takes a villain to defeat a villain. So he does what nobody expected and makes a deal with the devil to become the person he used to be. That's right, the arrogant, curse you Spider Man Dr. Octopus of old. It's such a disappointing moment because it basically wipes away all of Otto's character development over the past 7 years, and Mephisto becomes nothing more than a convenient status quo reset button. This deal also marked the end of the Superior Spider Man era in the main Marvel continuity. Just like the others, this deal has never been mentioned again. Otto keeps on being Otto. Maybe Mephisto did technically win here, but it is bizarre that Marvel never had him use this victory to taunt Otto, and it is just forgotten. And finally, the most infamous of them all, Peter Parker's deal in One More Day. Everyone knows this one. Peter Parker sells his marriage to Mary Jane to save Aunt May's life. Mephisto wins, the devil wins, and somehow Marvel chooses to keep it that way. Everything that can be said about One More Day has already been said. It remains one of the most controversial Spider Man stories ever written. It's frustrating because that deal actually mattered, yet Marvel still refuses to let the characters confront or undo it. At the end of the day, Mephisto walked away the victor, and Marvel is somehow good with that. Now, here's the thing, aside from One More Day, all of these Mephisto deals happened within just 2 years of each other. Three Spider Man, three deals with the devil, all in a tight window of time. That can just be a random coincidence, right? It feels like it should lead to something bigger. Maybe even a story where Mephisto comes to collect on all these deals. But here we are, nearly 6 years later, and absolutely nothing. Apparently, it was all just a random coincidence. And that's what bothers me most about these stories. These stories had potential, they had emotional weight, they could have been used to explore the moral consequences on these heroes, but instead they were used as one off plot devices or convenient status quo resets. The characters struck deals with the devil and pretty much suffered nothing. Every single one of them got exactly what they bargained for, and somehow Mephisto, the ultimate manipulator, was fine with that. It just doesn't sit right with me. In a perfect world, Marvel would build towards a Spider Man vs. Mephisto event. In a perfect world, it probably would have happened already, but just picture it, Mephisto finally coming to collect on all these deals by exploiting the loopholes in them. It could be really epic. It could be the ultimate reckoning. Maybe even the chance to finally resolve One More Day, but sadly, I don't think it will ever happen. But it would be genuinely amazing if it ever did. I do wonder how Marvel looked at the extremely negative reactions to One More Day and somehow thought it would be cool to double down on it three more times. Before we wrap this up, credit where it's due. Shout out to Kane Parker, the second Scarlet Spider. The man who calls himself a monster is somehow the only Spider Man who had the common sense not to make a deal with the devil. It would be a cool thing to bring up if all this ever leads to anything in the future.